What's up, WWE fans? You're watching Wrestling Edge Files, where every slam and surprise matters. Subscribe now and let's roll in. What if Seth Rollins doesn't return alone? What if the Architect comes back not just seeking revenge, but armed with a calculated plan and a familiar presence from his past? Ever since the shocking post-Crown Jewel episode of Raw, where Rollins was violently expelled from the Vision and left with a devastating shoulder injury, fans have been asking one question. How does Seth Rollins strike back? WWE has stayed silent, letting speculation grow, and that silence feels deliberate. This isn't just about an injury or a return date. This is about strategy, memory, and long-term revenge. When Rollins comes back, it won't be emotional chaos. It will be something far more dangerous. The night Seth Rollins was erased. The post-Crown Jewel Raw will stand as one of the most ruthless betrayals in recent WWE storytelling. Seth Rollins wasn't just attacked, he was systematically removed. The Vision didn't lash out randomly. They targeted his shoulder, his livelihood, and his future. Commentary framed it as a legitimate injury, signaling that this was meant to sideline him completely. More importantly, the message was psychological. The faction Rollins built no longer needed him. They believed they had evolved beyond their creator. In WWE history, betrayals at this level are never accidental or temporary. They are foundations for revenge arcs that take time to unfold. Rollins wasn't just written off television. He was stripped of power, allies, and identity, setting the stage for something far more calculated. Silence as a weapon. WWE's refusal to clarify Seth Rollins' return timeline is not an oversight. It is storytelling. Rollins' absence communicates isolation. He has no backup, no visible allies, and no immediate path back to control. Meanwhile, the Vision continues to dominate the space he once ruled. This silence reframes Rollins' injury as more than physical damage. It becomes emotional and strategic exile. History shows that Rollins is most dangerous when underestimated. The longer he stays gone, the more believable it becomes that he is planning rather than reacting. Wrestling injuries often serve as narrative incubation periods, and this one feels intentional. Rollins isn't healing just his shoulder. He's rebuilding his approach, waiting for the exact moment when retaliation will hurt the most. Seth Rollins never forgets. One defining trait has followed Seth Rollins throughout his entire career: memory. He remembers betrayals, slights, and power shifts. Whether as the man who shattered the Shield or the one later betrayed by allies of his own creation, Rollins always circles back. He doesn't rush revenge, he architects it. Being expelled from the Vision isn't something his character can forgive or ignore. WWE storytelling has consistently treated Rollins as a strategist, not a reckless avenger. His return will not be framed around sympathy, it will be framed around control. When Rollins comes back, the goal won't be chaos, it will be dismantling the Vision piece by piece, proving they never truly escaped his shadow. Why Buddy Mathews enters the conversation. Speculation intensifies when Buddy Mathews' name enters the picture, and for good reason. Mathews is not just a talented wrestler, he is deeply connected to Rollins' past. During the Messiah era, Rollins positioned Mathews as his disciple, someone molded through ideology, loyalty, and control. Their partnership produced real results, including tag team championship success. This wasn't a random alliance, it was psychologically layered storytelling built on mentorship and manipulation. That history gives a potential reunion emotional weight. Mathews knows how Rollins thinks, how he plans, and how he attacks. Fans aren't imagining this scenario out of nowhere. They're responding to unfinished narrative threads that WWE never truly closed. The psychology of their past alliance. The Rollins-Mathews relationship worked because it wasn't simple. Rollins elevated Mathews while simultaneously controlling him. Mathews grew stronger, more confident, and more dangerous through that partnership. When it ended, it wasn't due to failure or rejection, it simply faded as stories shifted. That unresolved ending matters. WWE storytelling thrives on revisiting relationships that ended without true closure. Mathews wasn't destroyed by Rollins, he wasn't redeemed against him either. That ambiguity creates fertile ground for a reunion that feels earned, not forced. A return alongside Rollins wouldn't be nostalgia, it would be continuation. It would acknowledge growth, shared scars, and the reality that both men understand exactly what the other is capable of. Strategy over chaos. If Seth Rollins wants revenge on the Vision, brute force alone won't work. They already outnumbered and outmaneuvered him once. Rollins needs someone who understands his timing, his pacing, and his psychological warfare. Buddy Mathews fits that role perfectly. He thrives in structured violence, where strategy matters as much as impact. A Rollins-led alliance wouldn't rush into war. It would manipulate circumstances, isolate targets, and strike surgically. This version of Rollins wouldn't be desperate. He would be patient. That patience, combined with Mathews' physical credibility, creates a pairing that feels dangerous in a grounded, believable way, rather than an overbooked spectacle. Reclaiming the Vision. There is deep irony in the idea of Rollins reforming the Vision on his own terms. The faction that cast him aside could become the blueprint for his revenge. But this wouldn't be the same Vision. It wouldn't be built on opportunism or ego. It would be built on loyalty and history. Rollins aligning with people he trusts fundamentally changes the dynamic. This version would be smarter, leaner, and more methodical. Instead of overwhelming opponents with numbers, it would dismantle them through planning. That shift reflects character growth. Rollins wouldn't just be fighting to regain relevance, he'd be reclaiming authorship over the very narrative that was taken from him. The reality of contracts. As compelling as the story sounds, reality complicates everything. Buddy Mathews is currently signed to AEW under a multi-year deal. That fact alone makes this scenario unlikely in the near future. WWE cannot simply bring him back without contractual resolution. Wrestling history shows these situations can happen, but they are rare, complex, and slow. Even when companies cooperate, timelines stretch. This is why the idea remains speculation rather than expectation. Creative logic does not override business realities. Acknowledging that tension actually strengthens the discussion. It separates fantasy booking from grounded analysis and reinforces why WWE may choose alternative paths that echo this idea without directly executing it. Why and WWE would want it. From WWE's perspective, Buddy Mathews offers immediate credibility. He has grown significantly since leaving, refining his in-ring style and presence. A return wouldn't require reinvention. Fans already know who he is. Pairing him with Rollins provides instant narrative clarity rooted in history. There's no need for long explanations or manufactured alliances. The story writes itself. WWE values efficiency in storytelling, especially at the top of the card. This potential reunion checks those boxes creatively, even if logistical barriers exist. It represents the kind of layered storytelling WWE often aspires to, where past, present, and future intersect naturally rather than colliding randomly. What comes next for Seth Rollins? Whether Buddy Mathews ever returns or not, the core truth remains unchanged. Seth Rollins' comeback will be deliberate. He will not rush back swinging blindly. He will return with intent, with structure, and with a plan designed to hurt those who betrayed him most. WWE has laid too much groundwork for this to end quietly. Rollins' absence, the Vision's dominance, and the brutality of the betrayal all point toward a payoff that values patience over shock. When the architect finally reappears, it won't just be a return. It will be a reckoning, built carefully, executed precisely, and remembered long after the first blow is struck.